Dr. Keith Priddy is the president of Northwood University, where they specialize in leadership. In fact, 50 years now of producing leaders there at Northwood University. Good morning, Dr. Priddy.
Good morning, Michael Patrick.
Well, are you a decided voter?
I'm getting there. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting close.
Are you serious? We're hours, 30 minutes from the polls opening.
Well, yeah, but there's still a whole day. You don't have to be the first voter. You just need to vote. It's so important for everybody to get out and vote.
Well, we're talking, it's funny, when we talk about getting out to vote, we see that they're talking about near record turnout for the primary today, and that's only still 23%, meaning about 1.7 million people are going to determine the sort of political playoffs today, if you will.
Yeah, that's sad, and that really makes a big difference in a lot of candidates' strategies. I've heard a lot of people say that Congressman Hoekstra, for instance, because there's such a strong race for his congressional seat going on, he expects a large turnout in his congressional district and hopes to pick up a lot of votes because of that. But lots of parts of the state, there isn't going to be a very strong vote. And really the decision we're making today as to who will face off in the two major parties in the fall really will limit our options going forward. So it's, in a perfect world, you would hope that many, many people would get out and vote in the primary election today.
Yes, in fact, those West Michigan races that you're talking about, 2 open congressional seats. And if you presume that Pete Hoekstra is strong in West Michigan, and you presume these seats are hotly contested since they haven't been open in darn near 20 years, you could draw the conclusion that Pete will get a lot of votes, and he'll get them all from West Michigan.
Well, that's certainly one of the strategies that's being bandied about. We'll know in just a few hours, I guess. But, there's so many different strategies, so many different ways the candidates have tried to present themselves to the voters. But today is the test. We will know by this evening how voters feel in both political parties. And it's going to be interesting because certainly hard to tell in the Republican race who is going to pull it off when polls show going into the race, undecided being the largest group, and even in the Democrats, as the previous speaker just mentioned, it's very, very close. So I hope people will come out and vote.
We might know tonight. Who knows? We might have one of those.
Right. It might take a little longer than that, but I suspect in today's modern world that we should have a pretty good idea before most people go to bed tonight.
In fact, if you look at the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd congressional districts in the state of Michigan, those are all open seats for the U.S. House of Representatives, and that's a very intriguing situation. There's going to be a whole new makeup in the Michigan congressional delegation, and we're going to see lots of new people, lots of new faces in the Michigan House and in the Michigan Senate because of term limits. They will require, although they are all leaders in their own way, they're going to require some measure of leadership, too, from the new governor, aren't they?
They're going to require huge leadership, and that's why this race is so important, and people really ought to get out and vote. I mean, the next governor has to be a strong leader. We've gone through an economic downturn here over the last 8 to 10 years that has really hit our state hard, and the combination of our economic issues, our changing major industries in the state, and when you overlay that with, as you have said, a almost completely new state legislature that will bring a lot of new and different people that haven't been experienced at how this process even works, it's critical for the next governor to hit the ground running and really be a strong leader and surround themselves with strong leaders in all of their cabinet appointments and all of their senior appointments in state government.
Well, what do you think voters want in their leader? People in the state of Michigan, we complain very often about the negative campaigning, but conventional wisdom shows us that very often the negative campaigns actually work. What do they want in their leaders, you think?
Well, it is sad. I mean, you had candidates as of early this morning as I got up and came to talk to you, I still was hearing negative advertisements. So they do, in fact, work. They do, in fact, change people's votes at the last second. But I think at the end of the day, what people really want is a strong, positive leader who is willing to listen and then upon listening and getting good advice from a variety of sources, will take action and take a significant action to move us in different directions and move us in directions that will take advantage of changes in the world economy, changes in our local opportunities. There's, so many businesses and individuals in this state have been forced to change and look at the world a little bit differently over the last few years. Yeah. Michigan still has a lot to offer, but we need strong leadership to pull that together and to build our strategy and implementation of that strategy in order to be an effective competitor in the world economy.
Just real quickly before you go, because I know Northwood University is so interested in automotive and automotive styling, the number one car among thieves, we're finding out for the most recent period, is the Cadillac Escalade. That's what they like the most to snatch. And yeah.
It's a big vehicle, but I guess it's a great vehicle to ride in. That surprises me a little bit. I would have thought it might have been something a little more sleek and fast. But
the one they don't want is the Toyota Prius. That's the least stolen car.
Well, that's probably good for insurance rates then on the Toyota Prius.
Northwood University celebrating 50 years of producing leaders, and Dr. Keith Priddy is the president of Northwood University. Enjoy your trip to the polls today. He's going to decide probably when he gets in the booth to pull the lever. It's 35 after the hour.